Welcome to Ready, Set, Sold with your host, Bryan Vogt. Are you wanting or even thinking about selling your house but don't know where to start? Good thing you found Ready, Set, Sold. And now, real estate broker, Bryan Vogt.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm your host, Bryan Vogt, and we have quite a show lined up for you today. You're going to find some great information, and that's really what we're based on. We're always trying to get out the best information possible from local experts, talking about the book, things of that nature. Most of you know, I wrote a best-selling book called Ready, Set, Sold, 12 Proven Steps to Get Your House Sold for Top dollar and a fast sale. So we talk a lot about that, but we also are bringing on experts and actually sponsors too. Briefly talking about the market is still hot. If you're thinking about putting your house on the market, this is the time. We haven't seen this type of activity in this time of year, meaning January, in years. So if you're thinking about it, do two things. Number one, contact your agent. Number two, if you don't have an agent or you're not sure what to do, go to readysetsold.org, not .com, readysetsold.org, not .com, and pick up a free copy of the book. Fill out a little bit of information and get that and get yourself going. Maybe not January, but maybe you're thinking spring. Whatever you're thinking about, it's a great book to have. People have had great success with it. With that said, I want to introduce a personal friend, someone I've known for a very long time. We'll just say that. A great guy, and he's the president of Harnist Insurance, and that is Joe Harnist. Joe, you there?
Yeah, Bryan, how are you this morning?
I am doing fantastic. Joe is also not only a local expert, in particular in the Metro East, O'Fallon, Shiloh, Belleville, throughout the area, but he also is a sponsor. So we're really happy to have him with him. So you're going to be hearing more and more of Joe and the information he has to provide. With that said, let's just talk about the subjects that you want to talk about, what we're going to really dive into today, and that's really coverages for homeowners of which one to choose. And that can be a real issue. I've had that happen with even sellers and even buyers. There's just some confusion out there. It's not a one-size-fits-all, is it?
No, not at all, Bryan. There's so many different coverages that can be added to a homeowner's policy that you may not necessarily know. A lot of them, a lot of times are built in. I mean, they agents offer them, but there's others out there that some agents may not look at, may not pick up on. And we try to cover all the bases with everything because you can go out and buy a basic, plain Jane homeowner's policy to satisfy a mortgage company, but it may not necessarily satisfy your needs as a homeowner. In St. Clair County, because of the mine subsidence issue, mine subsidence is automatically included in a homeowner's policy unless you specifically sign off on it. But by law, it has to be included in a homeowner's policy. So that's normally one of the add-ons that's included. But you get into things like earthquake, sewer, equipment breakdown, flood insurance, identity theft, personal injury liability. You can get service line coverage to cover your water and sewer lines coming into your house if they break out in your yard. You can add golf cart coverage, physical damage. You can add jewelry. You can schedule antiques. You can schedule fine arts. I mean, there's just a whole myriad of things that can go into a homeowner's policy that the bank doesn't really care about, but it should be something that the client cares about. So
I would imagine, and what little I know, and I do mean that what little I know about the insurance, but most of that coverage is pretty reasonable, right? I mean, for the value of what you're covering, sewer lines, for example, are water lines. I imagine because, look, we've had situations, unfortunately, where a seller found out that they really had a problem with their sewer line, and it cost $4,000 or $5,000 to get it repaired.
Yeah, it's
before they could get it on the market.
Right.
So I would think that the coverages are far, far, far less on a normal situation like that than having to pay, some kind of crazy number. Am I right on that?
Yeah. And it's, the coverages individually by themselves are not expensive, but when you start adding them up and you're putting a lot of different endorsements onto a homeowner's policy, it can get a little pricey, but it just depends on what you want to cover. You need to look at what your exposure is, what you think your exposure is going to be, and pick and choose what you think is most important of the coverage options that are available to you. So,
well, I think what you're talking about, what I'm hearing you saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but long and short of it, peace of mind doesn't cost that much.
No, absolutely, and that's basically what insurance is. And any type of insurance, it's peace of mind that you've got some backing behind you if something serious happens that you might not necessarily be able to recover from without that backing. So. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I think that's always important to know that when you take the whole thing of what you're getting for coverage and potential, and of course we don't wish anybody, I know you don't, no one wants to have a claim,
right?
But when you're making an investment, buying a home, that's usually the largest investment most people ever make, and you want to have someone has local connections, someone similar to you. I mean, you've been in the business for 40 years. Right. I know you started when you were 5, so you were a prodigy, right?
Yeah. I was pretty intelligent.
It works, right? So it's our story. But anyway, but I mean, you have that type of banking, you have that type of knowledge behind you that you can, go to, and a trusted person, and I think that's really important. And we'd love for you to contact Joe, but whoever that may be, you want to make sure that person has that type of experience, that they have that type of knowledge, that they can, I don't know, Joe, in some ways, you've probably seen more than most agents will ever see in their career.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it, pretty much seen it all and dealt with it all, as far as, writing coverages, writing certain types of structures, dealing with claims, I've seen it all with many different companies over the years. We're an independent agent, so we don't write just for one company. We write for multiple companies. MetLife, Travelers. We've got access probably to about a dozen different companies that we can get to. Most of them were.
So that what I'm hearing you saying is that can be a great advantage if someone is looking. It doesn't mean that you can't go with a one brand company, and that's fine. Not saying they don't do good jobs too, but it's nice to have that ability to shop the business. So by going by an independent insurance agent, that's some real pluses for whether you're a buyer or even if you're selling. Because when you sell, you're looking possibly to change insurance, or you're looking to change carriers. It's not uncommon. So that's a great thing to look for. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is what's nice is every company that we write for has different underwriting guidelines, and so if there is an issue where there's claim history involved, they may not be able to get coverage through a one company, situation, but we can look at different companies and see if we can fit them into one of those companies that have an underwriting philosophy that's a little looser than others. Not saying that it's bad, it's just that, say, they may accept 2 claims instead of 1 before they cancel you, or they may say, well, we'll take 3 claims under a certain dollar value before we'd get into a cancellation situation. So,
and hopefully that will never happen. I mean, of course, but again, it's good to know that there is that ability not to have one-stop shopping, that you have that flexibility. So independent agents can have an advantage over, again, traditionally one name, one brand company. So that's, that's a huge advantage that people might want to take advantage of. I tell you what, we're running out of time on this segment, but we've got some great information coming away. Joe's going to be with us in the second segment, and that's Joe Harnist. He is president of Harnist Insurance Company. And Joe, while you have it, how can people contact you? What's your email?
It's the letter J, Harnist, Harnist, at harnistinsurance.com, and insurance is spelled out.
Awesome. So if you have questions, you have more information that you want to gather, I highly encourage you to contact Joe, and he'll get any information that you need. We'll be back with the next segment in just a few minutes. You're listening to Ready, Set, Sold. I'm your host, Bryan Vogt.